Okay, so let's share this. Okie dokie, all systems are go. Hello, Snowy Emu. There is audio. Oh my god. Amazing. I don't know, honestly. You would not believe how much testing I've done today to ensure that this was running. I'll close the other stream now, even though there's 7 people there. Hey, peeps, closing this stream now. Go to new stream at. Okay. We will. End that stream. And here we are. Right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there and riding the YouTube roller coaster with me. I hope you're doing well. As I said in my message to you via Canvas earlier on this week, I've intentionally been leaving you alone in recent weeks as you've had your break from teaching. And I was just very aware that with all of the constant iterative adjustments that you were needing to make and we were needing to make as information came down from on high regarding how the university was going to manage the COVID-19 situation and our transition to it was a progressive transition, wasn't it, to online study. I think I was getting a good sense that people were really fatigued from change and fatigued from communication. So obviously, on one hand, I wanted to keep you up to date as much as possible and let you know what was happening as soon as I knew, so that you weren't left wondering. But on the other hand, of course, that came with quite a burden in terms of the number of announcements. So thought I'd leave you be and let you settle into life in lockdown all over the world. How are you? How is everybody going with the lockdown life, the transition to living and, well, I suppose we're always living at home, hopefully, but for those of us that are lucky to have a home, but for so many of us, it's a challenge to live and study at home, isn't it? And oh, stressed out by 3 essays. Yeah. Hi, Nicole. Thank you. I am well. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I've settled in. I look sick. Am I okay? That's just what a high definition. That's what you get for using a Canon. What have I got? 5D Mark IV for a webcam. You get to see all the cracks and creases. So I don't know. Am I feeling sick? I'm feeling okay. Um, I'm feeling okay. No, I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you. I'm nicely caffeinated. Thanks to got a nice double espresso here. That's keeping me going. Um, no, I'm feeling good. It's been a really busy time, of course, with teaching and research as well. I've got a lot going on. I do have a doggo. No one, that is correct. Charlie is not in the room, however, at the moment he's somewhere else. So have I been taking my lovely daily allocated stroll? Aggie, is that how I say it? I've taken a couple, but I need to get onto that. So I know that will make me just generally feel better. But no, I haven't. I've admittedly been getting up in the mornings and not practicing good work-life balance at the start of the day, getting up and getting straight into it. So not uncommon that I'm in here at 6, 7 o'clock and working. So having said that, I think that's a great suggestion, Aggie. I'm glad I got that right. On those mornings where I have gotten up and taken Charlie for a walk, Charlie is certainly very happy, and I am happy as well. Snowy Emu, you have been having some fluctuating mood, good days and not so good days. Yeah, I'm there with you. I think that's a really common experience. I can certainly understand. Yeah, no inspiration from outside life, and it's all a bit monotonous, isn't it? Yeah, I've certainly had that experience as well. I think I'm on the good days at the moment, but yeah, there's been some ebb and flow for sure. And I think it's, the perfect recipe for behavioral depression to set in. So for those of you who have taken mind, brain, and behavior too, spitting everywhere. You'd know that one of the ways in which we can think about depression is through behavior, and emanating depression, obtaining reinforcement, emanating depression, emanating behavior would hopefully be met with reinforcement, which keeps our behavioral levels up. But in this type of circumstance, the recipe is just right for behavior to not be reinforced as it normally would, and for behavioral depression to be a thing. And something I've had to keep an eye on, to be sure, absolutely. I've certainly felt stressed at times and anxious at times, but I think, and I understand that that's been really very common for everyone, and certainly with all of my research team and all of my teaching team that I've been working with, I think there's just a general agreement at the moment that it's okay not to be performing at 100% all the time like people might normally be. And there's this, I think a generally shared understanding that everybody is just in just a completely, I know the term's thrown around a lot, but I'll say it, unprecedented circumstance in modern history. And we all just doing the best that we can. So I can certainly understand, Christina, how having essays would be a really stressful experience right now, and certainly juggling multiple essays. So it sounds like you've got 3 on the boil back there. Oh, Selena, living alone. Oh dear. All flights back to England. So you're here in Australia living alone at the moment, Selena, is that right? And your family's back in England? School part isn't too bad. I'm glad to hear that, Aggie. Oh, you bought some plants to keep yourself company. That's great, Christina. My colleague, a postdoctoral fellow who works in my lab, they rescued my office plants, and they have taken them to their house. They rescued them before uni was closed down. Hi, Nura. Just realized how hard to get a good score on essays in uni. Yeah, I suppose it should feel hard right now. It's the first time that you're doing this, probably, if you're in your first semester, like so many are. But you know what? I think with rehearsal and time, by the time you get into your second year and your third year, essays are just going to be smooth sailing. Hi, Nancy. So my email about Peerwise. Oh, is in just an hour ago or so. So did you try the 2 reset links, the password and the username reset link? Still in Melbourne, Selena. Okay. Oh, well, that is less than ideal, isn't it? Being separated from your family. But I suppose you were already prepared to be here at this point of time. At least you've got this type of medium to be in contact with them as well. Yeah, I like your style there, Liam. So it sounds like you've reflected on how you're going with the whole situation and decided to drop to a part-time load. It sounds like a really clever move. I think it's something we can all do, isn't it? Listen to ourselves and reflect on how we're doing and think about whether how we can adapt to best meet the circumstances. So good for you, Liam. Well done. Oh, flip, play, tumble. That is a lovely compliment. Thank you kindly. It's nice to hear that you are feeling like it's a well-organized subject. As I said, in the recent weeks, I've tried to leave you alone, but that's been strategic. I hope that has come through. I hope you didn't all think I was abandoning you. Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay, so Nancy, the username reset link gave you the correct username, but the password link said my email registered was incorrect. Okay, so Nancy, just so I don't forget, because I have a million things on my plate, please send me another email right after this that I can respond to. That will prompt me. What I'll do is go into the system. I'll remove your account from the system, and then we can start again fresh and get you back in there. How do you fix a sweater with a stretched out neck hole? Oh, are we talking about my sweater? This is my very big comfy. It's got longer sleeves than it really needs, but this is my very comfy. This is my data processing sweater. It's nice and comfy and warm on a day like today when it's snowing up at Mount Hotham. It's snowing just outside Melbourne for everybody who is new to Melbourne. Mount Hotham's just north of us here. It's snowing up there. Hey, Nura. Yeah, so the suggested readings for research methods module, so they're not compulsory, but they are suggested, and they're from one of the recommended texts that we don't have copyright access to release online and readings online. So to tell you the truth, any introductory research methods textbook will be fine that talks about these things. Everything you need to know for the exam is in the modules or in the practical classes that we've just written. So there's 3 research methods practical classes coming up. And actually, while we're talking about that, that's one subject-related thing that we could talk about. And it was on my agenda. So I definitely did want to remind you about the research methods modules, that they are examinable, and that there is a practical class coming up. Let's see, it might be next week. Where are we? We're in week 7 now, aren't we? So week 8, we've got a few practical classes coming up, but if you could, by the time you attend your, now I've got 2 screens now. You probably saw the thumbnail, right? So I'm just in screen heaven, and I keep forgetting that I've got 2 screens, so I can actually open up something while I'm speaking with you. We're in week 7. Yeah, so next week's practical classes are about research methods. And it would be great if you could get through to module 6. Now, if you have not watched any of the research methods modules, that's right, Rima. I did originally say research methods 1 to 5 by next week. If you can get through to module 6, even better. So next week in practical classes, I'm going to pose you a challenge, and that will be to develop a research proposal for a research project that you would like to do, one that you could think of, one you come up with yourself and in a small group. To have the background knowledge to be able to do that, modules 1 to 5 are fundamental. If you can do module 6 as well, then that is about sampling, about how we go about designing our strategy that we use to recruit participants for our research from the general population or from specific populations, according to the type of question that we want to answer. And that comes with a range of assumptions and pros and cons, and it would be really great if you did research methods module 6 before coming to that class, so you've got an insight. If you haven't started the modules at all, you can still get up to date in, I would think, maybe if you just watch the videos, an hour? They're probably no more than an average of 10 minutes long each. You'd be good. Hey, Carolina, good luck with your MST, whatever that is. It sounds interesting. Thanks so much. Glad you're enjoying the lectures on lecture capture. So behind the scenes, the lecturing team and I are trialing different approaches, and that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about today. As a group, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on the different ways in which we're trialing delivering the lectures and engaging with you around the lecture content. In fact, let's go there. In fact, before we go there, let me just have a quick look at the chat. I know it's flowing on, so let me just make sure I'm not missing things. Hey, James, around texts, I'm having trouble saying texts today. Oh, I'm practicing that word, texts. Good Lord. The research methods module are the research methods modules. The research methods texts are the ones that I would recommend getting if you're going to go on and be a psych major, getting access to somehow. You don't need to get them for the purposes of examination. All the information you need is presented in the course, but they're useful. I've still got my my first research methods text is looking at me over on my right hand side. An oldie but a goodie. Okay, so hopefully we've solved the Bartman's sweater with the stretched out neck hole. Glad you think this looks comfy. It so is. The working from home jumper. Yeah. So working from home, that's been an interesting thing with dressing as well. Typically, I'm actually wearing a business shirt and maybe a vest because I have a lot of meetings every day via Zoom or webcam. And so I still, try to put on a professional appearance. We're all just friends, so we're just hanging out here. It's okay to wear comfy jumpers today. But yes, I've been wearing business shirts and, of course, track pants. Nicole. So, Nicole, I have updated the calendar in line with the university's revised academic calendar. So they came out with a revision of the academic calendar after they made the decision to cancel most of week 4 and week 6. And so they've renamed or reordered the weeks. So right now we're in week 7 of the semester. It's the 30th of April today, isn't it? Yeah, week 7. Advocate for productive speech. Hello, advocate for productive speech. Do I think conspiracy theories and mistrust of the government would derail any legitimate effort to control coronavirus? That's an interesting question, certainly a left-hand one. I wonder if you're human. This sounds botty, but yeah, I think that is always a potential, right? So if there's a perceived conspiracy where, and I take it the inference here would be that the government would be perceived to be involved with said conspiracy, would that influence people's willingness to go along with whatever they're being asked to do on any topic? Sure, that makes sense, doesn't it? So if that was around things like the tracing app, that would be one way where that could play out. I've downloaded the tracing app this week past. Certainly if I have been in contact with somebody that is positive for coronavirus, then I want to know about it so that I can get tested. Obviously, I'm a big boy. I'm in a high-risk group because of that with coronavirus. So, yeah, I have certainly downloaded the tracing app. My personal opinion is that, and the way I go about, I suppose, my digital existence is that I just accept that a lot of my personal information is being collected by the government and third parties. I mean, if you're concerned about an app knowing where you are at any given time, the ultimate, or anything along those lines in terms of privacy, the ultimate culprit is Facebook, right? My goodness. So if you've got Facebook on your phone, I think personally the tracing app is nothing to worry about. And particularly think about, now it might not make, or it might be a little bit abstract because we're all still largely isolated. But imagine if we are moving back to campus at some point, and I don't know when that is going to be. I personally hope that we don't go back to campus this year. I'm hoping that we settle into working online, but that's just my personal wish and opinion. I think it would be very difficult for us, being such a big subject, to do it. But there's a lot of work that's going on, obviously, all over the place, working out how to get back on campus. So imagine, as COVID risk teeters off and we do go back to campus, whenever that is, before we're vaccinated against COVID, would I want to know if somebody has been close to me? Yeah, absolutely. If they've tested positive. Yeah, exactly. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're collecting all sorts of metadata all the time and have been for years. And I think if we reflect on that, it's probably nothing new, and probably with some degree of personal benefit, potentially, if you think about it. Hey, no one. Yeah, it's a different webcam. I've got it not running at 4K right now, I think, but it's a Canon 5D Mark IV, a DSLR with an L lens, one of their pro lenses on there. It does the trick. So we're not completely there with the home studio. There's a few additions that I'm making. I've got some foam coming to improve the audio, and we'll work out the background a little bit better so that we're not looking at my boring closet doors behind me there. Yeah, it's getting there. We're getting there. I told you we'd be getting there, and we are getting there. And let's face it, if you're enrolling at the University of Melbourne, you want to get a good experience. So that's what I'm trying to do for you all. Hey, Liam, thoughts on the WAM situation? Okay, so that's a really good point. I am a fan of what has happened with the WAM. I think it's good that the university has considered the impact that COVID could have on us and the implication that would have for our weighted average marks for applications to graduate and postgraduate courses in the future. So the beautiful thing is we don't need to worry, essentially, about marks this semester. I mean, that doesn't sound right. I mean, we do need to, how do I say this? We're still thinking about marks, but if things don't go as well as they do for you in every other semester, of course, it's no harm, no foul. The WAM's only going to be included if it's equal to, your score will only be included if it's equal to or higher than your average. The other thing around mind, brain, and behavior 1 is that first year marks do not count towards your weighted average mark for entry to honors in psychology or postgraduate study in psychology. So that's another reason why I hope there's a little bit of stress relief that comes with this announcement regarding the WAM. So the whole idea is just to prevent disadvantage and to relieve stress that might be otherwise associated with the COVID situation, and us all having to adapt to work under situations that are perhaps less than ideal. Okay. Hey, James. So James has a question. James, sorry, I meant about the essay that is due soon. Like, oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I see what you're saying. So, James, there's been a very key starting resource provided for the essay, that one that was also touched on in practical classes and so forth. So, yes, we would be expecting that you'd certainly use that course starting resource, but I would be encouraging you to go beyond that starting reading to find some related literature through the library online and so forth. Speaking of the assignment and preparing for the assignment, of course, there's been a lot of work that we've done throughout semester leading you up to preparing for the assignment. There's been practical classes, there's been the assessment literacy module, which you'll note was not on some arbitrary topic, but used a very adjacent topic to your assignment topic for the content and the same criteria that are being used to mark your assignment. So hopefully all of this work that we've sort of strategized should support your development of the assignment. Hopefully that's being useful. I mean, you tell me if it's being useful or not. And I assume that you'd be getting along with it now, given that the assignment deadline is, where is my calendar? I want to say the 11th. Yeah. The 11th of May. Does that sound right? Is it the 11th of May? Yeah, 8 a.m. Monday, May 11th. So there's still, after today, essentially 11 days to write the assignment. And I hope that's still sufficient time, even if you haven't started. If you haven't started, don't worry, that is completely sufficient time to be able to write this assignment. Remember, it's only 1,500 words. So it's not a big one, and there's plenty of starting resources. But let me just pull up an email here. If you haven't commenced your assignment, I have some good news. We have scheduled some assignment help sessions for everybody, and we'll run this through YouTube as well. Now, I'm going to be attending, but I'll be attending in the chat room with you all, while Caitlin, our principal tutor, and Rebecca, our head tutor, who works with Caitlin to support the tutors and has been, obviously, they've been working together on the discussion board to support you with your assignment development. Those sessions are going to be on YouTube. We'll announce where, and hopefully it'll work, right? On Monday, the 4th of May. So the first one's at Monday, the 4th of May. This will be Rebecca. I'll be in the audience with you and chiming in via the chat channel. And we've tried to mix the times up to accommodate different people's availability. So Monday, the 4th of May. So, bit my tongue. That's going to run from 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. So a bit of an unusual time. And then Thursday, the 7th of May, will be with Caitlin, and again, me in the chat room. And that will run from 12:15 to 1:15 p.m. So these streams, like this stream, will be recorded and people will be able to access it afterwards, but you'll get most value out of it if you do attend the stream. So Monday the 4th from 5 till 6, Thursday the 7th from 12:15 to 1:15. That is when we are going to run those stream help sessions. And 11th of May is the assignment due date. That's right, Nicole. That assignment will be due at 8 a.m. that day. Okay, so please feel welcome to throw any questions out there. I do have a few other things that I wanted to speak about, but do feel welcome to ask me any questions you have. In fact, why don't I ask you a question? I started asking you earlier on about your thoughts on the way in which we've been trialing different modes of engagement with lecturers and yourself. So obviously, all of my lectures are online in the modules, and we'll be having some dedicated live streamed consultations like this about the research methods modules. Big bang there. I don't know if you heard that. Charlie running around, no doubt. Or I'm being robbed, one of the two. So we're going to have, and we are having ongoing live streamed interactions. Meredith pre-recorded her lectures and then engaged with you via the discussion board primarily. With peers, we're taking a different approach and trialing this idea of releasing the lectures, releasing those Word documents, the Google documents where you can ask peers questions, and then he's recording videos to answer your questions and publishing those. How are you finding these different types of engagement? Do you find one has been more useful than another for you, for example? And please feel free to tell us that a particular mode doesn't work for you and you don't like it. All feedback is very welcome. Oh, coffee is good. Lada, yes, I will post an announcement with those times for the assignment consultation sessions. And oh, Boogie, Mind, Brain, and Boogie. Yes, Mind, Brain, and Boogie. We've got to do that, don't we? That's right. So I left you alone, didn't I, to settle into COVID existence. Didn't want to bombard you, so I thought we'd pause. But yes, I think we definitely need to do Mind, Brain, and Boogie. When do we want to do it? That's the question. So we did a survey previously, and it was found that a Friday night was probably ideal. Most people preferred a Friday night. Which Friday is it that we want to do? Do we want to do tomorrow night? Do we want to do after the assignment has been submitted? Rima, okay, yeah, good. Okay, so we like Piers's approach. Yeah, good. Yeah, I hear you now. Hard to keep up with lectures on the discussion board. Yeah, face-to-face lectures. I miss face-to-face lectures as well. Though, oh, good. I'm glad that Piers's style is coming across well. That sounds. I mean, he's a brilliant man, a brilliant academic. I mean, as is Meredith. Everybody that we've got the pleasure of working with, Jason, is everybody's brilliant. So they're all a great bunch of people. They do put a lot of work into it, so I'm glad that's coming along. But it's all new this semester, right? So all of the content, it's all new. First time trialing it. And of course, the universe just thought it would throw COVID in there to keep us on our toes. Yeah, right. That's a good point, Lee. So you like Piers's mode because the anonymity can be less intimidating? Good. Yeah, okay. I can understand how that would the anonymous nature of asking those questions would allow you to maybe feel comfortable to ask some of the questions that you might otherwise feel inhibited to ask. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Lada. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're getting good interaction. Okay, the discussion boards are also useful. Good. Thank you, Jess. Okay, so you prefer the whole lecture instead of breaking into 2 parts? Yep, okay. Lecture revision sessions, they are coming. So I'll be delivering those with you. So each lecturer will be giving me some content, and then the last week of semester, I'll be live streaming with you at the lecture times to do lecture revision. That's what we'll be doing in the last week to prepare you for the exam. Yeah, the discussion boards can be helpful for the assignments, can't they? Hey, Jess, could I ask, when you say readings, tutorial sessions, do you mean like a session to explore the core readings that we're assigning alongside each lecture stream and each tutorial? Is that the idea? I like the idea. If that's what I'm just making sure I understand. Yeah, so thank you, Renee, for that feedback. That's great. Yeah, a consultation hour with peers to be able to ask questions face to face. Yep. Would be a good opportunity as well. Yep. Yeah, I agree. So maybe there's something about having multiple options to suit people's preferences. Yeah. I agree, Jess. So let me take that suggestion on board and let me see what I can do with let's trial. I think we take your idea, Jess, and we trial it for obviously Piers's reading is already out, but Jason's behavioral neuroscience section of the course is coming up. Let's trial it with his core reading. I think that's an excellent idea, and maybe leave it with me, but we might work it out such that maybe I lead a reading group with you, and we go through. Anybody who wants to attend can attend a live stream, and we can go through the paper together. And I can share my screen, and we can have a Ow! I've got to stop biting my tongue. We can have a discussion about the paper. Does that sound good? I'm glad the assignment planning tool is coming across as useful. That's good. A lot of work went into the development of that tool. So I'm glad that it's coming across as useful to help people get a start. And that's such a fundamental part of the challenge in first year in particular, when we're anxious about how best to approach an assignment. Sometimes it can be difficult to start. And under circumstances like COVID, it can be incredibly difficult to get motivation to start, be in a position where you have to start. And so hopefully that tool and that activity has really supported people needing to start the assignment and to start working on it. Okay, good, Jess. Glad that sounds good. Snowy Emu Reading Club. Okay, good. Let's do it then. All right, so leave that with me. I'll discuss with Jason and we'll work out how we're going to do it. Even though all of my research is in, right now, it's in psychiatry, clinical psychology, very much around stigma and discrimination, about severe and complex mental health issues and mental illness. I miss a lot of the behavioral neuroscience that I used to do, a lot of psychophysiology and behavioral neuroscience in my early research roots. So, and that's the flavor of Jason's reading. So I would actually have a lot of fun getting into the core reading for that subject. We're in good hands, says Lee. Make sure to wash them. They're clean, they're washed. Haven't got my gloves on, but we're appropriately distanced. We're okay. Speaking about working on the assignment, people having and all the experience of finding it difficult to get motivated to work on the assignment, to get started. This is a really common experience, and my theory is that while we've been doing all of these things like the assessment literacy module and so forth to try and support that work, that the other side of the scales is that we're fighting against what COVID is doing to us all in terms of the lockdown and our state of well-being and psychological health and just the way we are being at at the moment. So I'm assuming that more people than usual may be having that experience where it's difficult to start and to get the motivation to really start and to keep going. Okay, that's good. Flip, slide, tumble. Yeah. Remus and Ruzi. Yeah, you've been having, yeah. Okay, that makes complete sense. Been having difficulty getting started. Woo! Snowy Emu. Yas, Emu. Well done. But no motivation to start the others. Okay. Yeah, harder to be motivated. So I had a little thought in the shower. Why not, right? I wonder if we do something else like a journal club, but instead we schedule some working bees together. So the idea would be that we might sort of structure a working bee around approaching the assignment or another assignment that you want to get started on. And we leverage something like the Pomodoro technique, which can be a great way to build positive behavior around task completion and motivation to complete a task. And essentially, maybe I'll nominate a time where I will choose a task as well that I have not started, or maybe I've been avoiding starting, and it's probably a very long list of those, I can assure you. And I would guide us as a group, so whoever wants to attend through as many sessions as people would like to have. We'll hold a weekly session where we work together to start something. And we would start with short time periods of concentration and of dedicated focus, and we would expand that out generally up to the point where we might be spending half an hour, maybe an hour at a time, working on a dedicated task. Oh, okay. Lee knows the Pomodoro technique. Hey, Jess. Yeah, a rough assignment timeline put together. Oh, I do love a timeline. Oh, now you're talking. Yeah, give me a timeline and Gantt chart, and I'm a happy man. Andreas, I believe we are still adhering to the 6th edition. To tell you the truth, I haven't even seen the 7th edition yet, even though I know it is out. Okay, so what do we think? Working bee, if I was to advertise a day, a time during the week, maybe where we all just get together, you can join in if you want. And the idea will be a lock-in, and we're going to scaffold towards concentrated work on a task of your choosing that you bring along. I'm in session with you. We do it all together. I don't know what you just stepped into there. All right, working bee is on. Sounds good. All right. Well, I will let me put my little thinking cap on about that, and I'll make an announcement, and we'll set up some times. Man Benitez, 247. I've just realized that I must have made this a public chat. There we go. The liberal state of the nation. Of which nation? Are you one of my students? What did I... Okay, Snowy, I will work it out. We're all in Australia, man Benitez. So, Snowy Emu, I'll work that out. I'll make an announcement in the coming days, and we can have a lock-in, an assignment working lock-in. Sounds good. So some of the other course-related things that I wanted to talk about included the REP. So the research experience program has been slow to get up and running this year, slower than any other year, and it's because all of the research projects have had to transition to online delivery, and it's taken some time. However, I've been working closely behind the scenes with Peter Koval, who's the REP convener. We had another meeting this morning, first thing, and we have sufficient REP hours for everybody. So there are about 24 studies that are about to come online, and there are, bear with me, so many documents. There's 20-something studies there right now. So please, if you haven't already registered for your REP account, don't forget you've got 5% credit towards your Mind, Brain, and Behavior 1 score that you can gain through participating in the REP. I've extended the deadline again through to the 12th of June. Unfortunately, I can't start from the beginning. I'm very sorry. We've been going for about an hour. The 12th of June is now the deadline. The other reason why and I've said this before, why I think the research experience program is really valuable is not just to get credits towards your mark for MBB1, but to actually learn through participation how research is conducted in psychological science. I can still remember the projects that I participated in when I was in first year, and I found it fascinating, given that we are about to get to the end of semester where we're starting to focus on research methods more. Remember, we're hoping to have modules 1 to 6 done before you get to your next tutorial, which is about research methods. Why not start doing some REP if you haven't already as well? I think it's a really good opportunity to learn through participation. So what else do we want to... you enjoy the REPs, that's great. Rima, I'm very glad to hear that. Hey, Renee. So the textbook that's available online will correspond to some of the later modules for the later research methods modules, but the earlier ones correspond to a textbook that I don't have copyright access to make available through Readings Online. So if you do want to access that text, you would have to obtain it, well, at this point, online. However, everything you need to know is in the module and in the accompanying practical classes, and I will have some additional consultation with you specifically on the module content in due course. And any introductory research methods text would be appropriate. So any text that you could find online through the library that's about psychological research methods that dealt with all of those early topics around constructs and operationalization of constructs, research questions, hypotheses, variables, types of variables, scales of measurement, sampling, research ethics. Oh, no, wait, ethics is later, isn't it? Sampling, research design, and so forth. Anything that touches on those would be fine. In fact, there might even be some content in the what is that text that Meredith has been, Burton, in the Burton text, in a general psychology text as well. There's lots of texts that deal with psychological research methods. So where are we going? We're at 3 o'clock. So we're nearly getting up to an hour since we started the second stream after the first stream died. If we know anything about my live streams, it's that the first stream is going to die, right? I couldn't believe that. I tested it so many times today, and off it went and tipped over. Do I think creating a summary sheet of each lecture is best for revising for the MBB1 exam? I think that's a great way. It's a great way. It's one good technique. Yeah, why not? Absolutely. I think a great way to finish your engagement with a lecture or with a practical class, for that matter, is to stop and reflect on what was said or what's been discussed in that class and think of the hour or hour and a half worth of content What exactly is the take-home message that I really need to know? What's the one thing? Or what are there might be two things. What are the two most important things for that? And can I understand that? Can I put that into some context somehow to understand it um, in the context of the beautiful thing about psychology is you can understand most topics we talk about in the context of personal life or in the context of previous lectures, other readings, and so forth. And you're probably getting to the start now where you're going to be able to start to draw meaningful links between different areas of content that are presented in the subject. Will you have access to past papers in the lead up to the exam? No. You will have practice questions, to be sure. The exam will only be multiple choice. Making a cartoon. Wow, the information helps you remember it. I love it. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, very cool. And yes, retrieval practice. Look at Jess. So here's another layer. You're catching us out now. Um, of course, we haven't just given you the essay topic that we've given you for the sake of giving you an essay topic. We're giving you an essay topic that explicitly explores study techniques. And what do you want more in your first semester of study at university than to develop knowledge based on empirical evidence about which study techniques are good in which circumstances and so forth. So this was not an accident. This was intentional. Hi, Charlotte. Have you had any success logging in this semester at all? Is this new, or is this since the first time you tried to log in, it's done this? Logging in for the first time. So, um, where is my Canvas page? Bear with me one sec. Okay, Charlotte. So I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're clicking on the green University of Melbourne login button. And when you do that, Is it prompting you to create an account by entering your student ID? Huh, really? Okay. Please send me an email and I'll look into it for you and see if I can work out what the problem is. The email is just to make sure I don't forget in the sea of things that I have bubbling away on any given day. Hey, Rima, I don't know what the exam date is yet. You'll know as soon as I do. If you write a stellar essay, can you get an essay score of greater than 95%? Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, absolutely. I have. Yeah. Yes. And I wouldn't say they'd never get close. I'd say it is statistically unlikely, rare. It's a rarity. We would say that people are scoring above 95, but it does happen. It would probably happen for around, I don't know, 3-ish% of the cohort, maybe 5% of the cohort. Oh, you had to request an account. This is weird. Yeah, you should have to create an account by putting in your ID. If it's not doing that, that is a bit weird. I will follow up on it and see what's going on. I can prompt somebody to give me an answer about that question about Sona and the REP. Bear with me. I think you guys are right. I think there's an issue with Sona. What's going on here? All right. I cannot work it out right now, but I will look into what is going on with Sona. Can people who already have access to the REP system, who have had access earlier on in the semester, are you guys still able to access it, to log in when you need to? Like to know which. Oh, you signed up to studies 1 minute ago. Okay, great. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so it might just be an issue for people who are trying to get in for the first time. It sounds like. We'll have a look at that and see if we can work it out. So Andreas and Flipfly and everyone else with the APA. We're in a transitional period at the moment with the APA. So the 7th has just come out recently. We're being flexible, either 6th or 7th will be fine. So in the assessment literacy module, I believe for the sake of longevity, we've gone with the 7th in terms of demonstration. However, the library at this point in time only has the 6th edition available for you all. So either is fine. How's my research team going? Are they all freaking out? Without Papa Bear, he's been away for an hour. So there were some other things that I wanted to ask you, but they can wait for another time, I think. I think we've been hanging out for a while. Thank you so much for hanging out as well. It's really great to have you engaging. Wouldn't work without you. So I do appreciate that. And we'll be back to regular check-ins now. So that's something to look forward to. And of course, we've got a few things that we're going to organize, don't we? So I'm going to speak with Jason about a reading club around his reading. And we'll have a look at this work lock-in to get us motivated to start on the assignment and so forth if we haven't in the coming week. And leverage some Pomodoro type approach and so forth. Hi, Abdul. That's all right. You don't need a reason to be here. Glad that you popped back in to say hi. I hope you're doing well in second year psychology. Glad that the live streams worked well for you last year. And I will, of course, announce those assignment help sessions that will be coming up in the coming week as well. So, lots of activities starting to bubble away again. Charlie's barking in the background. I don't know if you can hear him. Neglectful daddy. I better go and give him a pat. Though not when he's barking, right? Don't want to reinforce a undesired target behavior. Okay, everyone. So, any final questions before we sign off? Fluff all over me. Okay, team. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. That's all right. I'll ask at the next live stream. So maybe we'll do what is it? Mind, Brain, and Boogie. Maybe that'll be next Friday. Maybe the week after the assignment. We'll think about it. Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Okay, everyone. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye now.